Welcome back to Ferris Tutorials. In today's episode, we're looking at CSEC past paper questions for the subject Food, Nutrition, and Health. And we're looking at paper 1 and another 30 questions for this multiple choice. Now, let's get started. Number 1. Dietary fiber is important in the diet because it prevents A. Scurvy, B. Diabetes, C. Anemia, and D. Constipation. Now, which is the answer, guys? Dietary fiber is important in the diet because it prevents. Another name for dietary fiber is roughage, and what does roughage does? So dietary fiber helps to regulate bowel movement, right? Therefore, if your response is D, you are correct, which is constipation. Good. Next question. A deficiency in which of the following minerals in the diet of children may cause rickets? Now, what is rickets, guys? Remember, rickets is what? A deficiency disease that affects the bones. Now, which one of these nutrients aid in strong bones? And right, so your answer here would be what? So we have A, calcium, B, sodium, C, iodine, and D, iron. The correct answer here is calcium. Good. Next question. Which of the following organizations is involved in community nutrition? Good. Now, community nutrition refers to an organization that goes out within the community and disseminate information about health and nutrition and lifestyle diseases, right? And the function of persons who undertake this task is just for persons to live a healthier lifestyle. So the options here are A, United Nations Development Program, B. United Nations Children Education Fund, C. World Food Alliance, and D. Central Government. Now, the correct answer here is A, which is United Nations Development Programs, right? We also have UNICEF, which is United Nations Children Fund. So B is a distractor there. Good. So the correct answer for this one is A. All right, next, the World Health Organization defines health as a complete state of A, physical and social well-being and not just the absence of disease. B, physical and psychosocial well-being and not just the absence of disease or infirmity. C, physical, mental, and social well-being and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. And D, physical and spiritual well-being and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity, right? They're very close, right? Now, it is important that to know that all of these definitions are suitable definitions if we're defining health. However, this question asks you for the definition as it relates to World Health Organization. So that exact definition that World Health Organization coined in 1948, that is the one that we're required to put, right? So therefore, which one of these would be the answer? If your response is C, you are correct, guys. All right, good job. Let's move on. Warm temperatures, moisture, and improper storage of food may all contribute to A, an unhealthy diet, B, dehydration of food, C, food contamination, and D, accidents in the home. Now, the correct response here, warm temperature, moisture, and improper storage may all contribute to food contamination because they provide the ideal atmosphere or the environment for microorganisms to reproduce. Good. So the answer there is C, which is food contamination. Next question. The polysaccharide present in the cell walls of fruits that causes jams and jellies to set is called A. Pectin, B. Gelatin, C. Dextrin, and D. Cellulose. Now, the correct answer here is pectin. So when we're selecting fruits for jams and jellies, we have to select the ones that are just ripe and those that are rich in pectin, as pectin aid in the setting of jams and jellies. They also sell commercial pectin as well that we may add to these jams and jellies if they are not setting correctly. All right. Next question. When cooking a cheese pastry, which of the following coagulates upon heating? A. Casinogen, B. Legumin, C. Collagen, and D. Elastin. Now, the correct answer here is A. So, casinogen is a protein that is found in milk and it is found as it relates to the coagulated form in cheese. So, the answer there is A. Casinogen. Good. Next question. Which of the following is the correct procedure for treating a minor burn? A. Applying butter. B. Applying alcohol. C. Applying bandaging firmly. And D. Applying cold water. Now the correct response here is awesome. D. Applying cold water. Next question. Which of the following designs will shorten the walking distance in a kitchen? A. Parallel. B. L-shaped. C. One wall. And D. U-shaped. Now, these are all layouts, kitchen layouts. Now, the correct answer here is what? The U-shaped kitchen. And why is that so? If your response is that it is the most ideal layout. Next question. Sweet potatoes are best stored in A. The refrigerator, B. A cool, dark container, C. A plastic bag at room temperature, and D. A moisture-free area at room temperature. Now, some of these answers are close, right? But let us use the process of elimination. Good. So it's not in the refrigerator. Good, because that will affect the starch that is in the potato, and also after a while it give it a not so pleasant taste, right? The next one that we can eliminate is a plastic bag at room temperature, because guess what? In a plastic bag at room temperature, the moisture will be introduced, and then there is moisture, there is food from the potato, the nutrients, and also room temperature. Therefore, what can happen? Eventually, the potatoes will spoil at a more rapid rate because those conditions are ideal. Even though it's a semi-perishable food, those conditions are ideal for microorganisms to contaminate the potato, right? Now, there are two options remaining. It says a moisture-free area at room temperature and a cool dark container. Now we're going to eliminate D, and let me tell you why. Right? So even though it says a moisture-free area, which is good, and at room temperature, if the potato is exposed to light, even though it's at room temperature, what if it's at room temperature and then based on where it is placed, then it is exposed to light? Now that can also speed up the reaction of the potatoes being contaminated and also spoiled. So the best answer here is a cool, dark container, which prevents less exposure to light and also at room temperature as well. Good? Awesome. Next question. An unplanned decision to buy a product or service is known as A. bulk buying, B, impulsive buying, C, cooperative buying, and D, comparative buying, right? Now, how many persons have gone out to, say, to the supermarket and you have a shopping list and then you derail from that shopping list and you start buying other stuff that you didn't plan to buy? Good? So that is what? The answer is here is impulsive buying. Next question. A date marked on a perishable product indicating the recommended time by which it should be sold is called the A, sell by date, B, expiry date, C, use by date, and D, the best by date. Now, if it's a date that's indicating when the product should be sold, it is what? Awesome. It is a sell by date. Now, as it relates to the expiry date, that is the date where the product is no longer safe to consume. As it relates to the use by date, this product should be used by a certain time so that high quality may be obtained, and also the best by and the use by dates are also similar. So when we follow those dates, we get the highest quality of the product. It doesn't mean that it is expired, but what it means is that you get a better quality of the product if you use it before the use by date or you adhere to the best by date. All right. Which of the following groups comprises all spices? A, nutmeg, chives, mint, rosemary. B, ginger, clove, turmeric, cinnamon. C, thyme, mustard, basil, cinnamon. D, marjoram, bay leaf, parsley, and thyme. Now, the correct answer here is B. You're correct if your response was B. So that is ginger, clove, turmeric, and cinnamon. Next question. Which of the following is not considered when planning menus for large scale food preparation? A, the size of the space for eating. B, the number of decorations to be used. C, the type of people who will consume the food. And D, the type of kitchen equipment available. Now, which is the answer, guys? If your answer is B, you are correct. So the number of decorations to be used is the correct answer here. Next question. Which of the following foods is or prepared by conservative cooking? Now, what is conservative cooking? It is a method by which a minimal amount of heat is applied to a food item so that the nutrients can be conserved. Good? Now, let us look at these options. A, eggs. B, rice. C, peas. And D, cabbage. So the ideal answer here would be cabbage. Awesome. Which of the following groups of food is not recommended for people suffering from hypertension? A, lettuce, fish, fresh fruit. B, bacon, full cream milk, sausage. C, coconut water, spinach, pumpkin. And D, skim milk, margarine, and green beans. And the ideal answer here, guys, is B. And the bacon and the sausage are salty as well as fatty. So the ideal answer here, guys, is B. All right. Next question. Which of the following is not important in ensuring food safety when purchasing food? A, choose food that look fresh. B, buy from reputable suppliers. C, check for expiry date on packets and cans, and D, select expensive foods since these are of a better quality. Now, the answer here is D. No, expensive food, guys, is not necessarily of a better quality, but what? We should choose foods that look fresh, buy from reputable suppliers, and also to check the expiry date of these products, which are very important. Next question. The above may be improved by adding a vegetable soup, B. Vanilla milkshake, C. Raw vegetable salad, and D. Peas and beans. Let's take a minute to observe these three sample menus. So sample menu 1 has stewed chicken, dumplings, and stewed lentils. Menu 2 has baked chicken, boiled rice, stewed pigeon peas. And the final menu has curried chicken, roti, curried potatoes, or chana or chickpeas. Now, what you notice with these menus, they're all what? They are all part of the main meal, right? Or they have protein in it, there's carbohydrate. But if you notice, what is missing here, guys, is actually the raw vegetable salad, right? To make it complete. So if your selection was C, you are correct. Next question. Thyme leaves were picked from the garden and placed in a warm oven for 3 days. They became dry and brittle. This method of preservation is known as A. Heating, B. Pickling, C. Blanching, and D. Dehydration. Now the correct answer here is awesome. D. Dehydration. Next question. Which of the following foods are recommended for an individual suffering from goiter? Now, goiter is a condition where the thyroid gland is swollen, right? And therefore, it's also a deficiency disease that is caused by a lack of iodine in the diet, right? So therefore, we would want to choose foods that are rich in iodine, right? Now, let us look at the responses. A, seafood. B, citrus fruit, C, dairy products, and D, peas and beans. Now, the correct answer here is awesome. A, which is seafood, right? Now, seafood is rich in iodine. Next question. The layout of the kitchen in the diagram may best be described as A, open, B, galley, C, parallel, and D, U-shaped. Now you can see what shape are you seeing here? So we have one corner there, then we go up and we go around, and that creates a U. So therefore, the correct response here is U-shaped. Next question. Which of the following meals should be prepared using least amount of fuel? Which of the following meals could be prepared using the least amount of fuel? Now let us look at what these meals are. So A, fried fish, buttered green bananas, coleslaw, fruit salad. B, grilled fish, baked potatoes, tossed salad, steamed pudding. C, roast chicken, rice and peas, coleslaw, sweet potato pudding. D, stewed chicken, baked potatoes, tossed salad, and steamed custard. Now, the ideal response here, guys, is what? Take a look at it for 2 seconds. Awesome. The ideal answer here is A. So if your response is A, you are correct. So fried fish, buttered green bananas, coleslaw, which require no cooking, and also the fruit salad as well, which require no cooking as well. So the answer there is A. Awesome. Next question. The leavening of a sponge cake is mainly due to A. Air, B. Yeast, C. Baking powder, and D. Bicarbonate of soda, which is common terms, baking soda, right? Now the correct answer here is, if your response is A, you are correct. Because what happens in a sponge cake, the eggs are beaten to trap the air, and therefore that creates the leavening for those cakes, right? There is no baking powder or baking soda in those cakes. Next question. Shirley's baked pastry shell had lost its shape due to shrinkage. Which of the following would prevent shrinkage? A. Measure the fat correctly. B. Use correct oven temperature. C. Ensure fat is evenly rubbed in. D. Avoid stretching pastry while rolling out. So the correct answer there, guys, is D. Good? Because when we stretch the pastry while rolling and folding, then the pastry will shrink. Next question. Which row in the table shows the food items correctly placed in the different positions of the refrigerator? So we have lettuce in the door, eggs in the crisper, freezing compartment, we have the beef. Compartment is correct, the other two is incorrect, therefore the answer couldn't be A. Next, number 2, there is lettuce in the door, beef in the crisper, eggs in the freezing compartment. That's a no-no. C, we have 3 that says eggs in the door, lettuce in the crisper, and beef in the freezing compartment, which is correct. Good. And for D, we have beef in the door, lettuce, and eggs in the freezing compartment, which is incorrect. So the correct answer here is C. Now, it is also important to note that it is recommended that eggs shouldn't be stored in the door, because opening and closing the fridge will cause the temperature to fluctuate for the eggs. Good. And we know that eggs are classified as potentially hazardous food, so proper storage temperature is very important. Now, as it relates to this question, the best answer here is C, which is eggs in the door, lettuce in the crisper, and beef in the freezing compartment. Good. Next question. Which of the following best illustrates the role of consumer organization in relation to food and nutrition? A. Prepare the national budget. B. Buy foods which are in season. C. Prepare the family food budget. And D. Educate the public on a healthy eating practices. Good. And D is the correct answer. Next question. Which of the following methods is best for a homemaker to use to preserve a surplus of cucumbers? A. Drying. B. Pickling. C. Canning. And D. Freezing. Now, the ideal response here is B, which is pickling. Good. Next question. Baked fish with tomato sauce, vegetable rice, garden salad, golden apple pie. Question. Which of the following is most suitable for enhancing the presentation of the meal? Right? Now, when we speak about enhancing the presentation of a meal, we're speaking about garnishes and also decorations. All right? A. Breadcrumbs, sliced tomatoes, mayonnaise. B. Lime wedges, chopped onions, sliced tomatoes. C. Lime butterflies, chopped onions, parsley, glacé cherries. D. Tomato cups, chopped parsley, French dressing. Now, the correct answer here, guys, is C. So there's lime butterflies, chopped onions, parsley, and also the glacé cherries for to decorate that what? Golden apple pie. Next question. Bread rolls, croutons, dumplings, and potato chips are accompaniments for A. Fish, B. Soups, C. Meats, and D. Sauces. And the correct answer here, guys, is soups. All right? Good job. You are awesome. You've made it to the end of the session. Please remember to subscribe, turn on your post notification bells so you can be notified when there's another upload. Most important, share with persons who you know will find this information useful. Thank you for making it fair